The following message is not intended to offend anyone. If anyone who is watching this message is offended, I sincerely apologize to you, to your friends, your family, and anyone else who may be offended by the offensive message that you think is offensive.
Week 3 is in the books. The Guru here, and it's Guru time! Time for us to tell you what's going to happen this year. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? All the predictions. The Super Bowl. Overall points. What players are going to do well? What players are not going to do well? Stay tuned. Watch this!
We start off with the injuries, like Peyton Manning out for the year just before the season starts. Nate Kading, a top 5 pick in Week 1. Jamal Charles in Week 2, a devastating loss for the Bears. And this past week, Kenny Britt losing, and he's gone for the year for the Sharks. These are devastating picks that can crush a team. Now let's look at the top picks of the draft. Cam Newton has been our big surprise so far in the draft this year. Darren Sproles has been amazing. He's scored just about every week now. And of course, Rob Gronkowski has become a top tight end. And Steve Smith, looking real young, looking good for the Sharks. And now the worst picks of the draft. Randall Cobb, the Chiefs, of course, weaseled their 17 points in Week 1. Got stuck with him, no more points. Brown, taken in a second round for the Donkey Kongs. And of course, the worst pick of the draft, Ocho Cinco. And now, let's take a look at the MVPs of the league. Tom Brady, of course, off to a great start. He looks fantastic. You've got Calvin Johnson. He's been amazing. He'll be a top 5 scorer this year. You've got Darren McFadden. He's been pretty solid as well. And, of course, you got this little running back over there, last year's MVP, Foster, and maybe this other running back over here on the Eagles. He might do pretty well as well. But we think Aaron Rodgers is going to win the league MVP once again. And now, the worst of the league. Number 12. We got a sighting. Yes, he is. No, that's not Dwayne. Where's Bob? Who knows? But Bob's got the worst team in the league this year with Ryan Matthews and this surprise guy sitting on their bench. They're going nowhere this year. Number 11, Mikey Schaffner. Now, Mikey's got a couple of good guys out of Buffalo, like this guy Jackson and this guy Johnson. But it's just not enough. Don't look for much. And, of course, in 10th place, the Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Mike Resnick had some top picks, and he's got some decent players like Hightower and, of course, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Chris Johnson. But I don't think this is the year for Donkey Kong. They're playing for next year. And now, the next tier. Almost no chance to win. Points. Playoffs possible. The Mustangs. They've got some monster guys like Vic and McFadden, but the team is just not very deep. Coming in number 9, the guy that dresses so sharply all the time. There he is. That's his shoes. No, there he is right there. Mikey P. Mikey's got some solid guys like Romo. Good running game with Hillis and Drew Jones. He's got some nice receivers like Roddy White. But Reggie Wayne hasn't shown up yet, and without Manning, I don't know if he will. Next, guys, the Truants.
Here they are arguing again about which players are going to take.
The Truants have got Brady and AP, some monster guys, and some young guys like Des Bryant. But the young guys just aren't ready yet, and even though they lead in overall points now, we don't think they're going to make it. Now we go to the next tier. These guys can compete for it all. They're almost so close, like Mark of the Sharks. He's got Ray Rice. He's got Reggie Bush. He's got Steve Smith. But he just lost Kenny Britt, and even with Phil Rivers, I don't think they got enough this year. Coming in next, we got Jay of What About Bob? They've got Vincent Jackson, a solid receiver, and Brandon Lloyd, a decent receiver. They got a solid running game if they get healthy, like Gore and last year's MVP, Foster. But the quarterback play is going to come down to whether they win or not. Is Stafford ready? And rounding out this group is Danny. He's got some monster guys like AJ at wide receiver. He's got the Philly Eagle running back. And, of course, he's got Gates, a solid tight end if he can get healthy. He's got D'Angelo. I don't know what his story is this year. He's got this great receiver from New York. Wait, no, there he is right there. Nix, that's the guy I'm talking about. But his quarterback play with Eli Manning and Freeman, those guys are just not going to get it done. And now, our top tier, the top 3. They're going to compete for it all, and you got it right here, the Guru. We got him rounding out with a great quarterback in Drew Brees, a solid running game with Bradshaw, a pretty decent receiving group with Bo, and, of course, a surprise guy like Welker this year, and, of course, Mendenhall. He's been great. Coming in just close. Oh, there's Randall Cobb. I love that guy, right?
Picture.
What can I say? Jamal Charles, running back for the Bears, is out for the year, but they still got some great guys. They traded for Benson. They've got Steven Jackson. They've got Matt Forte. They've got an incredible wide receiver tandem with Calvin Johnson and this guy Mike Williams. But the difference for them may come down to their quarterback. Is this guy ready to be a top 5 guy? And, of course, number 1 overall. Oh, Well, there's Blake. Number 1 overall, you got the Jets. Ernie, he's licking his chops. This team is so solid year in and year out, and this year they should compete to win it all. They've got the league's MVP in Aaron Rodgers, no question about it. This guy is a monster. They've got a pretty solid running game with Blount, and of course, Michael Turner. He's going to be a top guy as well. But their receiving core, 4 guys for 3 spots. Jennings is amazing. Wallace is amazing. I mean, these guys are so tough week in and week out. Fitzgerald is amazing. And of course, they got a guy they drafted in the first overall pick who sits on their bench. DJ is amazing. We think the Jets are going to go wire to wire. Well, that's our wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if I've offended you, I've done my job. Guru signing out.